the first thing to understand before you can actually even get into the framework that you can use stories to sell, you need to understand what I call the macro story. So what's the plot of the story that you're trying to get someone to buy into? The reason why we tell stories is, again, to have someone completely understand the emotion and the logic behind the decisions that they're making. We are trying to get people to make decisions so that we can help them change. Right, if you're not trying to help someone change, just trying to sell them something, don't listen to this, don't use this, I don't want to help you, right? Please, if you're trying to help people change, use this, and the perfect way to do this is, first of all, build your macro story. The best stories are always built up of the ones that have characters and settings. This is kind of weird. I know how did Jack do it, where he was drawing on the board and
he was at the side.
Was it the side?
Yeah.
Like this shit? Fucking feel kind of weird with my leg up like that. It's a bit gay. Alright, I'm gonna draw and then I'll just come back into it. Alright. So we've got two groups, great stories, characters and settings, the people and where they are basically. We only have 3 on each to keep it really simple. The characters that we have is the hero, the guide, and the villain. And the settings that we have is current, hell, heaven. This is it. The characters that we have are the hero, the guide, the villain. The settings that we have is the current, the hell, and heaven. The reason why we need to understand this first is this is going to help us build the entire world of the stories that we tell. Every single story that we tell needs to fit into this. This really helps you kind of structure almost your offer. The entire, the biggest belief shift that you want to get people to buy into is going to come from this. The biggest thing people get wrong, and the biggest thing I see people miss out with their content and also when they're telling stories to try and change people's perspectives, is that they put themselves as the hero. You might think, it's my personal brand, it's my content, I'm going to put myself as the hero. It's the biggest mistake you can make. Because no one cares about you, they only care about themselves. So how can we speak to people in a way that they want to listen because of what they are going to get out of it? How can we make them really want to buy into this because they will lose something if they don't watch our video or listen to our story? This is where we need to position you as the guide. The story that you've been on as the guide is the same as the hero, but now you've almost graduated and become the guide. So let me run through what that story looks like. The hero is in their current situation. Going around everyday life, they have this thing that they want, they have these pains, they have the struggle, just like everyone else. The hero wants to get to heaven, of course. Everyone wants to get to heaven. Heaven is the dream outcome, if you want to put it like that, right? But right now, the hero is following what the villain is saying, the enemy, right? And the villain is taking them down to hell. You, as the guide, have been in the exact same situation the hero has been. But you, as the guide, have figured a way out. So you were being fought by the villain to be taken to hell, but you figured out a way to get to heaven. And that is it. That is all that you need to understand so that you can be the one that stops the hero going to hell and instead you can take them to heaven. That is the purpose of story selling, where we can just make our hero feel so understood that the guide is the one that is taking them to heaven.
So you're saying you have to act in those characters, or those characters are the viewers?
The only character that you'll ever play is the guide. In the sales situation, the only character that you ever play is the guide. Right? If you really want to go kind of deep into this as well, the position that you need to have here is all of you, as the guide, selling something, you need to be the authentic authority. Done by 2 ways. You need to make the hero feel that you know exactly what it's like when you're in their situation. You need to connect to them on what they were going through when they were having this battle, right? Where they currently are, they're trying to get to heaven, but having this battle with hell, it's horrible. That's where all their pain points come from. That's where all the stresses come from. All of that stuff. You need to make them know that you know exactly what it's like. Otherwise, you're going to be like every other guru telling, oh, do this, you're a pussy. If you don't, fuck you. Like, that's kind of what the guru energy is like. To be a true leader, to be a fucking guide is going to move someone, help them change their life. You need to be authentic first so they can connect to you. The other part of that is obviously being an authority. We're not going to trust someone if they're not where we want to be. The best way to do this, lead by example. Be who you are and show who you are and do that, and that's it. Lead by fucking example. Because the last principle I leave you before we actually get into the framework, sorry. Does everyone have any questions? Is anyone unclear on what any of this means and how it plays? Perfect.
Should heaven be very specific, or can heaven be like multiple different settings? If that makes sense.
Give me an example. What are you thinking of?
So, for example, heaven could like does heaven have multiple features, or should heaven have like one clear
Desired
feature?
outcome.
Like yeah. That's I guess
What'd you
what
say?
Like a desired outcome.
Could there be
Is it-
multiple desired outcomes in heaven, or is it just one desired outcome?
I like to look at heaven as if it was a lifestyle.
A lifestyle, so
Yeah.
multiple.
Yeah.
They're encompassing.
How these things come together. Yeah. So what changes? It's not just like, okay, cool, yeah, you're going to be X amount of money. It's like, no. How are you going to walk different? How are you going to see the world? How are you going to really look different? Like, it's the entire lifestyle. That's why if we can tell stories so well, it's like, fuck, I can see it in your mind, right? There's two things I want to define. Sorry, is that clear?
Yeah.
Yeah? Sounds good. So yeah, it's a combination of the two.